Environmental problems. Tell me, what do you think are the greatest problems facing your country at present? Economic development issue, political instability, unemployment, and healthcare are the major issues most of the people in my country face. In my opinion, these are the most burning issues and the greatest problems we have in our country. And what has been done so far to solve these problems? The government has taken many initiatives for the economic progress of our country. According to the statistics, we are indeed progressing. But I am not convinced with the reported statistics. I want to see the result, and I want to feel it. The political instability seems like consuming most of our goodwill and energy. While major political parties should have worked together to help improve our economic conditions, sometimes their actions give me real doubt whether they are the type of leaders we need for our country. On the positive sides, government has emphasized on ICT sector, has made the export process easier for business people, established many training institutes to enhance the skill of the rural people, and those are all hopeful signs. Someday definitely we will see the progress. Education, skill, foreign investment, job security, etc. are also important areas where the government has invested a lot of money. The aim of this investment is to create a skilled and educated generation who would lead the economy and the country. The healthcare section is still an expensive area for the mass people, and the government's initiatives for the establishment of new hospitals, enrolling more doctors and nurses are in reality very little compared to the actual need. Q. How successful would you say these measures have been? A. These measures are successful to some extent, but if I present it in figures, it would only a few percentages than the actual progress we expect. For instance, more than 3,000 hospitals are required throughout the country, whereas only 45 hospitals have been established in the last 1 year. Do you think things are likely to get better or worse in the future? We hope that the problem we have in our country would be resolved in next few years. The government and other organizations are working hard to address these issues, and we are noticing some progress. So we can definitely be positive and wait for the glorious days when we won't have those issues. This was an optimistic idea, and I possess this positive idea about my country. But the greatest obstacle is the hunger for power, and our political parties often create haphazard situations for the power. This is the single reason that can degrade the situation in the future. Is what you are going to study likely to be of any use to solve these problems? A. I am going to finish my graduation majoring computer science, and I am very positive that it would directly or indirectly help eradicate unemployment, economic progress issues to some extent that I have talked about. After finishing my education, I would establish a small software company, and hopefully one day it would grow to be a large company where thousands of employees would work. The ICT sector also helps earn foreign remittance for a country, and I would also contribute to enhance the foreign remittance for my country. 1. What causes environmental problems? Well, the environment consists of a wide number of elements, including man-made and natural. But most of the cases, the environment is troubled with the activities undertaken by the humans. Besides, there are some other natural disasters that also cause the problems. To make it clearer, let's take some real-life examples. Generally, the environment is made of air, water, soil, rocks, fire, animals, plants, humans, climate, and other available elements. The natural environment is also known as the ecosystem, and when there is some imbalance on the entire environment, it gets degraded. The imbalances have serious impacts on the environment. The non-environment friendly activities like rapid changes in the technological sectors, engineering, transportation, shipping industries, mills and factories, increased use of metals and plastic in home and offices, changes in the manufacturing sectors, wide use of chemicals and pesticides on food crops, indiscriminate deforestation, mining, etc. are responsible for the degradation. As a direct result of the environmental problem, each of its elements is getting affected directly. The climate has started changing while the natural disasters are appearing more frequently than the past days. You know, earlier there were 6 seasons on the planet Earth, but now the seasons have been reduced. Besides, many of the wildlife species have been extinct as they lost their space owing deforestation. Moreover, due to global warming for the increased use of chemicals and gases, the sea level is on the rise, which is also a great environmental disorder and may bring a disastrous impact on the low-lying countries of the world. 1. What should the government do to protect the environment? A government is the sole and legal body of the country that owns the right to take decisions about any issues, and thus the government can do lots of things to protect the environment inside its legal boundary. It just needs to formulate the necessary rules and regulations and implement them in the right manner. Besides, a mass awareness against the environmental degradations should be formed so that people could abide by the law. Moreover, some practical actions should also be taken, like pollute or pay the fine. In this way, the one who pollutes the environment should pay taxes to reduce the damages caused towards the environment. It should be kept in consideration that once the damage is done to the environment, it cannot be undone anymore, but we can reduce the extent of the damage. So, the government may formulate principles and rules which comply with the situations and inspire all in protecting the environment. Raising public awareness is one of the most important factors in the protection of the environment, and it should be emphasized more and more. It is not possible for the government alone to solve all the problems, rather it needs assistive hands to support the initiatives. Additionally, the government could also arrange for regular monitoring of the activities if they are functioning well or needs improvement. 1. What should we do to protect the environment? It's a very good question. There are a large number of steps which we could adopt to protect the environment. Usually, goods and products are produced for consumption. So, we should check before consuming if those goods or services are produced in an environment-friendly manner. If the goods are non-friendly to the environment, we should start rejecting the products. Secondly, we need to be aware of the negative consequences of environmental degradation. We are to keep in mind that if the environment is degraded or polluted, in the long run, we are to suffer the consequences. With the name of development, we are cutting down forests and marching towards a new era of modernization. But we never think that the deforestation is damaging the environment and gradually warming the planet, which will raise the sea levels, and after a certain time the earth will be uninhabitable for all. We are polluting the air, water, and the soils. We throw our wastes here and there which pollute the soil. Oil spinning, the mixture of chemicals from industrial wastes, throwing wastes into water, etc. are causing water pollution. So, we have to check the things and never act like foolish by throwing such materials in open space or in places that could damage the environment. Besides, if there is any state regulation about the environmental protection, we should abide by the directives. 1. What other measures can you think of to protect the environment? Environmental protection is a large issue, and it is impossible for the government's monitoring agencies to check all the places at a time if there is the violation of environmental protection rules. So, the responsibilities are on the shoulder of the commoners. Only raising public awareness is not enough to prevent the environmental problems. I think the issue of environmental protection should be injected to the young generation, and it could be done by adding the issue to their curriculum and textbooks. Besides, massive consciousness-raising campaigns should also be initiated. Sometimes there are some conferences and meetings held over the environment protection, but there are not traces found about the outcomes of those events. If the decisions of those events are implemented, and outcomes are regularly monitored in respective regions where the events took place, then it would be nicer. Long-term social campaigns could also be initiated on mass media so that the commoners become aware of the environmental issues. Sometimes, the campaign should be undertaken with an interval, and thus it will be effective to remind people of the environmental problems. 1. How should we educate children to protect the environment? Well, As I said before that environmental issues should be included in the texts of the kids, it will be helpful for them to know about the environment and the types of disorders it experiences. The texts will be illustrated with simple descriptions of the types of pollution, natural and man-made hazards, causes of pollution and other necessary things to make the children aware of environmental degradation. The texts should be made clear to the students by some well-trained teachers as they could entirely comprehend the meaning and velocity of the environmental issues. Gradually, when they are aware of the issues, they will start taking responsibilities by them to prevent the environment pollution and other associated problems. 1. What's the difference between the old and the young as regards environmental protection? Yes, there are some basic differences here. The young people are inexperienced with the issue of environmental protection. They did not meet with such issues before, while the old or senior people have seen numerous environmental degradation issues, and some of them also can testify few of the major disaster that they have experienced in their early days. Since the young generation is not familiar with the disastrous impacts of the environmental degradation, they cannot imagine the real situation, while the older people can comprehend it completely. As a result, the old people are always aware of the issue and always try to protect the environment by all possible means for them. On the other side, the young people are almost reluctant over the protection issue and keep spoiling the environment in all possible means. They perform the acts frequently which cause damage the environment. They are in fact not serious over the issue as they needed to be like the experienced people. Natural resources and water. What is the major use of water in your country? Water is primarily used for drinking in my country. Besides, it is also used for numerous purposes including bathing, washing clothes, irrigation, cleaning, and also serves many other functions. In fact, the answer to this question cannot be given in one or two statements, you know. Water is synonymous with life. If there were no water on Earth, there would have been no life. So, the use of water cannot be bracketed into some specific use. Accordingly, the use of water in my country, India, is not limited to drinking only. It is also used for diversified aspects, not into my country alone, rather globally. Different light to heavy industries need water to clean their raw materials, vehicles need water to cool their carburetors and cleaning, electricity production, and domestic uses, etc. Is it important to conserve water? Well, to me, it is important to conserve water. Water is limited and collected mostly from the ground. Sometimes the groundwater dries up for excessive use and creates water shortage. As a result, the sometimes massive water shortage creates famine in some areas. If they have any preserving system, they will not suffer from the deficiency of water. Besides, someday it may happen that the water scarcity will be so acute that people will lock into fights to get their respective share of water. With the increased population, the pressure on groundwater has increased to a great extent, and my thought may come true, though I don't want it to be true. But people may say that they will depend on nature or rain, then I will say that they have forgotten about the climatic changes around the world. Rainfall is not abundant in the current days. Thus it becomes too risky to rely on nature for water, and therefore, I think it is important to conserve water for future use. Why should scientists focus on space exploration rather than exploring water? Good question for me to test my intelligence level. The scientist should focus on space exploration for several reasons instead of wasting their priceless moments after water exploration. Someday it may happen that the water bodies and all the other available sources may get dried and there will be not a single drop of water. But if they explore the space, they might discover any planet or galaxy where a habitable environment may exist similar to our solar system. If they start exploring the space, I believe they could be able to invent some sort of transportation system to reach the external livable planets. But if they explore water on Earth, it would be mere wastage of their time and labor. What is the importance of sunlight? Sunlight is one of the most important things for us. It makes the day, literally. The importance of sunlight cannot be described in words. The most important factor is that the sun gives us light. The sun rays bring heat to the planet, which keeps everything warm. Besides, due to sunlight, we have a daytime and nighttime. Moreover, sunlight is also helpful for human health and provides vitamins to the human body. During the winter seasons, people and animals bask in the sun to get heated. The sunlight also helps the plant to grow using its rays by photosynthesis process, which is also an essential element of the environment. What will happen if there will be no sunlight? Without the sunrise on the morning, we cannot say that this is a day. It will remain dark. The sun helps us to start our daily activities and more other necessary things from the dawn. A question may emerge here: if there were no sunlight? I think it would be night everywhere. Nothing could be visible clearly as we see in daytimes. Besides, sunlight provides necessary heats and energies on the planet which make the Earth habitable. If there is no sunlight, the Earth will turn uninhabitable. The surrounding environment will turn colder, and we may enter into the Ice Age again. The living will turn too difficult on the Earth. In few days all the trees will die, and we won't have any oxygen remaining for breathing. In few months the reserve of foods would end, and that would end the human civilization on the planet Earth. How long for are you exposed to sunlight daily? I actually do not get a close contact with the sunlight. During my morning walk, I see the sun is rising from the east side, and some mild rays fall on the earth from where I get a minor share. Usually, I return home after the dusk. I have to remain engaged in different activities in the daytime inside the office building. Thereby, I do not get exposed to sunlight daily. But when I'm on my morning walk, I get exposed for around 10 to 15 minutes. I think that is enough for me. The mild rays contain vitamin D, which is helpful for human health, but a blazing sun should be avoided for ultraviolet rays, which may even lead to cancers as well. Weather. What should you do in a bad weather? Well, bad weather is one of the worst things for me. The entire day is filled with boredom. It makes me chained at my home. At that moment I will have nothing to do except sitting at my place and pray for the weather to be clear. But I think there are many interesting things to do during bad weather, and I should follow the ideas to make the bad day into a bright day. The first thing is that I shall plan in the early hours of the day that how to spend the rest of the day. Usually, in bad weather, it rains around the day. Roads become muddy and slippery. So, I should not take the car even if I need to go somewhere for emergencies on such a day. If possible, I should cancel all the events and appointments for the day, except the emergencies, and stay home round the day. I should spend time with my wife, and as she likes listening songs, I should accompany her. After listening songs with Samantha, my wife, I should watch movies of my preferred genre. I like action movies while Samantha prefers comedy. So, I should move for action comedy movies and watch them together until noon. You'll be happy to know that Samantha loves to take foods cooked by me. So, I should also cook some foods for her to be served during the lunch and should allow her to prepare the supper. Besides, I should also plan for a party in the evening with my other family members or relatives or a couple of friends. This is the way I should pass a bad weather. Though it may sound a bit different from other people as they will move to their respective works, but I will stay home. I should pass the day with my family, and if they have occupational works, I should also disallow them to start for office. This is a sudden break in the monotonous life and helps to boost energies of people. Will bad weather mold or change people's personality? Yes, bad weather will change people's personality, but it will happen only for that day. When people experience a bad weather, they will either get angry or get happy. Some of the people will be angry as they will have to miss many important things, and some other people will be happy as they do not have to attend the preset events. It will happen that some people are missing their important meetings or works and any appointments. As a result, they will be annoyed but will have nothing to do except waiting. On the other part, People who prefer relaxation more than their works will be happy as they will have not to attend their jobs or other events. People with a pleasant personality will turn into a negative one due to the bad weather after being failed to do the necessary things. But this personality transformation will be temporary. The sun has a positive impact on people. When people see the sun, in a bright mode, they will forget their dullness. They will laugh and shout. A good number of songs have also been composed over the rising of the sun. However, people who were happy now will be dull. They will get back into their real personality again once the weather is over. So, I think this will be enjoyable to all as they actually will get some enjoyable moments for the bad weather. They will be amazed at their personality change, and it will make them laugh how they reacted when the weather turned into a foul weather. What is the relationship between weather and culture? Well, culture and weather have some interconnections. It has been formulated based on the geographical aspects. Weather is one of the important factors in producing food crops and has been playing a significant role in the entire agriculture system. If there is no water, there will be no crops. Again, if there is excessive water, there will be no crops as the crops will be destroyed by the excessive water. So, a large number of people belonging to agricultural society try to maintain a good relation with the weather. They have formulated their culture with the belief that if they could satisfy the weather, they will have good crops. But the scenario is different in modern cities. People observe and form different cultures in different weather conditions to make them more comfortable and enjoyable. In most of the cases, the cultures are determined by the weather pattern. People take the necessary measures to observe the seasons. For instance, winter is a climatic condition or a specific situation when the weather is cold. You cannot move without warm clothes in that season. A culture to put on warm dresses has been formulated. Similarly, in the monsoon, the culture of carrying an umbrella has been formed. In some cases, people carry umbrellas in summer as well to protect them from the blazing heat from the sun. So, it appears that weather and culture are closely interconnected with each other. The climate has changed these 50 years. Have you noticed the changes? Yes, I agree with you. The climate has changed greatly in the past 50 years. A lot of changes have taken place by this time. Environmental degradation is the key cause behind the changes, I think. Firstly, the seasonal change should be mentioned here caused for the environmental imbalance. Earlier there were 5 or 6 seasons, but now there are hardly 3 seasons appear around the year. The number of wildlife in different forests and jungles was more in the past comparing the current days. They have become extinct as they do not have their natural habitat. Random deforestation, environmental degradation, etc. are the key cause of their extinction. With the passage of development, people are in need of furniture and modern amenities, and thus they are cutting down trees. Forests are being destroyed, which is causing ecological imbalance across the globe. People are destroying the natural habitat of the wild animals and also polluting the other relevant elements of the environment. As a result, nature has experienced a negative change and the consequences are falling upon us. We are to suffer for the climatic changes. I also had noticed that when I was a kid, the summer was not as hot as it is today. Besides, in the rainy season, it rains less than the past days. Sometimes, there are excessive rains which cause flash floods in some of the parts of the low-lying regions in the world. But such sudden accidents were not found 50 years ago. I bet in next 50 years a massive change will take place across the globe unless the environmental pollution is not stopped. What changes do you predict in the following years? I think there will be massive changes in the environment. Firstly, the climate will go to its extreme. There might be only one season, summer, because all the other seasons will vanish due to deforestation and ecological imbalance in the environment. Food scarcity is another potential issue as the lands are losing fertility for the extensive use of chemical fertilizers. Besides, the chemicals used in the croplands are also getting mixed with water, which is also a serious threat to human and animal health. By drinking the polluted water, They may develop different deadly diseases. Desertification is the another issue that will be a great concern for the world. Currently, a large portion of the forests are being cut down to serve several purposes, and accordingly the cutting is going on indiscriminately. But it is imperative to plant trees with the ration of cutting them down. Unfortunately, people are cutting more instead of planting. The emergence of natural calamities in the recent past years is also a concerning issue, and in future, the frequency may increase more. The events of flash floods, cyclones, erosion, excessive rains or droughts in some places, heat waves, cold waves, hailstorms, thunderstorms, etc. will frequently be seen. If such situations prevail for longer times, I think the entire environment with all of its elements will collapse someday. Then it would be highly difficult for the humans to rise. In fact, war with nature is unwise, as nature will be the winner at the end of the day, while the modern people have made nature their opponent. It appears to me that they are in a battle with nature and wants to win over it. Alas! They do not have any idea how powerful the nature is. Climatic change is one of the changes that are seen now. Hope nature will show her mercy to us. Are the people interested in gathering the weather information in your place? France is the country of temperate climate, but the countrymen are highly aware of the climate change around the world. The country is surrounded by a couple of mountains which bring variations in the climate of the country. Usually, the mountain areas always remain cold comparing to the other regions, while the northern part is mild in winter and tolerable warm in summer. So, the climatic issues are one of the concerning issues for the people. The continental climatic condition owns the chance of a sudden change, and thereby, the people need to remain alerted, always over the changes. Though the seasons like winter and spring are pleasant in the current days, due to the massive aggression on the climate, they may get a terrible change. The dry summer seasons is also a concerning issue for us. With the climate change, the summer may turn drier, which would be intolerable to some extent. It is also a shocking event that the rate of global warming is more in France comparing the other parts of the world. The warming trend continued till 2009, beginning from 19,602, and the government is trying to control the situation. Different initiatives have been taken, and people are now aware than before over the climatic issues. They get regular weather updates for their own benefits. How does weather influence people's personalities in your country? This is an interesting question. In fact, the weather has something to do with the moods of the people in my country. Usually, the moods and personalities of the common people get a massive change with the change of weather. For instance, in summer, usually, people are frank and speak a lot. They organize for private parties and always in a jolly mood. You may be confused with their personalities, as the man with the most seriousness also becomes a cheerful one. But the scenario changes entirely in the winter. People do not prefer to talk that much and keep silence even in trips. This is the common scenarios in France during the season changes. Environment. Is water pollution a problem in your country? Well, water is considered as one of the most important elements of the environment and is polluted in numerous ways. This is a great problem for South Africa. This is a serious threat to the public health and the economy for the country. Thank you very much for allowing me to have my opinion on the topic. Water, in South Africa, is polluted in numerous ways, and mostly the industries are responsible for the pollutions. Mining industry, urbanization, population increase, etc. are the key cause of the pollution. People lack the pure drinking water in some of the parts of the country, and sanitation is also a problem for them. Waste materials are getting mixed with water of different water bodies, while in some part of the country, the mining industries are releasing toxic materials to get mixed with the water, which is causing the pollution. Moreover, the constant growth of the population is also responsible to some extent. Since they do not have the right sanitation system, they dispose the human and other waste materials into the water, which make the water polluted to the greatest extent. A wide variety of germs and bacteria get mixed with the water and make the entire water usable, and sometimes odor comes out of the water as well. What are some of the causes of water pollution? I think you are informed that the environment could be spoiled with numerous ways, and water being an important element is mostly polluted by 3 specific ways in the South Africa. The land is enriched with natural resource, and coal is one of them. Hence, coal mining is a profitable industry in the Southern Africa. But it has different detrimental impacts on the environment and greatly destroys the soil, water, and air. The chemical remaining, after the coal mining, is released in water, which consequently makes the water toxic and unusable. The contaminated water usually damages the plants and animals which come in close contact with the water. Secondly, I will point the finger at the urbanization process. Most of the rural people are moving in the cities for a better living, while the city cannot accommodate the expanding population. As a result, to meet the growing demands, the internal city systems like sewerage collapses sometimes. It also pollutes the water, and different diseases spread across the cities and make the people suffer a lot. The final cause of water contamination, in my opinion, is the oil spilling. A huge amount of oil is transported to different other countries, and the oil spills make the water of Southern Africa polluted and threaten the entire ecosystem. What can individuals do to try and ensure water is kept clean? A massive awareness is required for the prevention, I think. You won't believe how water is polluted in the urban areas, only as the polluters do not have the idea that they are damaging the water. If they had the right knowledge, I think they would be more careful over the water waste. Besides, the mining industries should be careful about releasing their waste and toxic chemicals. If they dispose of the chemicals and toxic materials produced from the coal mining, I believe the water pollution level will decrease to a great extent. Besides, government initiatives are also required over the pollution prevention. There should be specific rules to use the water bodies and penalties against the pollution. When the government enforces the policies, the commoners will tend to get rid of the penalties, and thus the pollution level will decrease to the desired extent. Don't you think a massive campaign is effective in this case? I think a large campaign to prevent the water pollution should be undertaken so that people could be aware of the water contamination and come forward to prevent it willingly. Do you think problems with the cleanliness of water will improve in the future? Well, this is a crucial question, as future is always unpredictable and uncertain. But it is hopeful for South Africa that still there are chances to improve in the sector, and I think if the people could be made aware of the detrimental impacts of water pollution, the importance of cleanliness in their daily life, and with legal bindings against water pollution, then it would be possible to improve the situation. For the improvement, it will require much time, as the habits of polluting water did not form overnight, and thus it could not be solved within a short time. If the measures are adopted now, it is anticipated that within next 3 to 5 years, the scenario will have a substantial change. The current attempts, which are adopted by both public and private initiatives, are not enough, I think, and thus the attempts should be raised immediately. 2. Is water pollution a problem in your country? 3. What are some of the causes of water pollution? 4. What can individuals do to try and ensure water is kept clean? 5. Do you think problems with the cleanliness of water will improve in the future? Influence of television. How popular is watching television in your country? It's a true pleasure that you asked me to explain the television watching behavior in my country, India. Television is, in fact, the most important mode of entertainment in India, and almost every family has a television set today. You cannot imagine how popular television is in India and how it is watched here. The popularity of the television cannot be described in words, you are to feel it. People come home after long tiring days and get entertained through the television program. They usually wait for different program, and mostly they watch the news channels. Regarding television watching, there are different classifications as well. Sometimes the family members make schedules to watch their respective program. An extensive circle has been formed based on the television watching to promote different products and services. Besides, considering the watching hours, different advertisements are also aired to allure the audience in buying the specific product. Even people try to imitate the performances in their real life or try to follow their respective character by wearing attires like them or make their hairstyle like them or try to deliver special dialogues they enjoyed on the television. It is evident that television has a great impact on the people who watch it. Tell me about the types of program that are generally on television in your country. Well, a wide range of programs are available round the day, and most importantly the television channels broadcast their programs 24 hours in a day. So, there are plenty of programs to enjoy. While answering the previous question, I mentioned that there are some groups who watch television at different times and they prefer different types of programs. The programs are picked based on the age range, but there are some programs are common like watching special drama serials or daily soaps. Mostly the daily soaps are enjoyed by all ages of people irrespective of gender. But the news programs are mostly watched by the male members of the family while the cartoons are enjoyed by the kids. Regarding some special cartoons like Tom and Jerry Show, it is enjoyed by kids, teens and some cases the adults as well. You will be surprised that there are some television programs on cooking as well to teach how to cook different items. I think the reality shows are the other most important television program in India. When the reality programs are aired, you cannot have a single man on streets to talk, all of them are busy in watching the programs. Besides, when it is about cricket and Team India is on the list, the people also leave all of their works to enjoy the matches. Why do people like watching television? I'm not sure how should I reply the question, or I may not be able to satisfy you with the answer as it will take a longer time to reply. Television is the mode of entertainment and easily accessible for all. I think you will agree on the point with me that television watching needs no money or efforts. It is a very comfortable way of passing the leisure hours. Besides, it provides the necessary entertainment to the audience which they need after their return from their respective jobs or duties. Moreover, it helps them to get relief from the tiresome works and monotony of life. It is a source of great joy for them. The audiences become glad when they sit before a television set to enjoy their favorite television event. Sometimes they are in great tension about imagining the futures of their preferable characters in their desired serials or get thrilled by enjoying an adventurous program. Do you think the state or private television is better? This is a million-dollar question for me. Thanks for asking. There are diversified programs on television, and all of them are not interesting because of program type and making. Usually, the state television channels try to make programs with a low budget, and thus the qualities fall comparing the private channel programs. Sometimes, the sets and props are not found in the right manner in the state-running television channels programs while the private-run television stations are careful about the issue and try to make programs interesting. Moreover, the state television programs are made with less care, and fewer crews are engaged to complete the programs. Most of the programs are shot in indoor. But the scenario is just the opposite for the case of private television channels. Considering the above comparison, I think the private television stations are better than the state-run televisions. What effects can watching television have on children? To be frank, the negative impacts of television watching are more on the kids comparing the educative values. In the current days, almost all of the television programs are commercial and are made to entertain people. They lack the educative values. Besides, the kids do not watch any educative channels, rather they also get addicted to the entertaining episodes. But sometimes the entertaining programs are made for the adults and contain materials unsuitable for the kids. Their exposure to the adult scenes cast a negative impact on them. They become overmature at a premature age. Additionally, they waste more times after television whereas they were supposed to spend the wasted time with their books and academic activities. I have seen some of the children who even forget to take their baths and foods as they are engaged in watching cartoons and other programs. The parents need to be more careful over the issue.